What's up, y'all? Today I want to share with you guys one of my favorite books since 2019 that has helped me push through adversity and stay on track towards my goals, and it's called Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. How US Navy SEALs Lead and Win. Now, right now it's a little bit past the midpoint of 2022, so I thought it'd be a good time to share the principle of extreme ownership so that we can reflect and set the right mentality for the second half of 2022 so that we can overcome any challenges that come through our way and have a higher chance of crushing through our goals. Now, I want to first start off with who is Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. Now, other than them being badasses, they are retired Navy SEAL leaders and commanders, specifically in the Battle of Ramadi in Iraq during the 2000s, where they took the hard lessons learned on the battlefield and they've transformed those into leadership principles, and they've created a consultancy group called Echelon Front to help consult and guide business leaders to achieve the results that they want and become more effective leaders. Now, the whole book is meant for leaders and business executives, but I truly believe it can be applicable to our own personal lives, because at the end of the day, we are our own leaders of our own lives and it's our responsibility. So I want to start off also with the definition of what is extreme ownership. Extreme ownership is leaders must take complete, even extreme ownership for anything and everything that happens in the unit or organization they lead. Now, that means that leaders are responsible for what happens and need to create a proactive plan to move things forward, even in a less ideal situation, and that they need to not play the blame game. They need to just take responsibility that this is my fault. How do we move this forward? And I want to highlight that no blame game, right? Even if there are other people that should be taking blame, if they are underneath your leadership, it is your responsibility to find a proactive way forward and to prevent similar situations from happening in the future. Now, a story that Jocko shared in his book to illustrate the concept of extreme ownership is there was a certain battle or skirmish during on one of their missions in Iraq. And on the battlefield, what happened was a blue on blue situation. One of the worst things that could happen, because it's friendly fires, friendly against friendly. And during that time, the US Navy SEALs partnered up with the local Iraqi militant forces. And somehow along the plan, there was miscommunication that led them to fire on one another that resulted in one of the Iraqis dying and a lot of US Navy SEALs that got wounded. Now, back in the debrief, who was to blame for all of this? Now, there was some of the Iraqi soldiers who changed up the plan and didn't communicate that. There was also a lack of clarity from the US Navy SEALs during the planning phase. Now, Jocko asked, whose fault is this? Is it the Iraqis? Is it the US Navy SEAls? He said, no, this is my fault. I am the leader of Task Unit Bruiser, and you guys are my subordinates. What you guys did is my responsibility, and I should have been there to help with the communication, to be there and create a better planning. And what happens for him taking blame, he should have gotten fired. But what happened was actually the opposite. By him actually taking responsibility of the situation and actually truly feeling it was his responsibility, he should have been there better for his team. His subordinates actually had more respect for him. It's like, oh man, Jocko is taking the heat for us, even though they kind of know that it was partly their fault. They need to go moving forward to be on top of their game so that Jocko doesn't take the heat and they're more on top of their stuff. And also the higher ups also saw Jocko, wow, this guy is a true leader. He took responsibility for a bad situation that he could have just pointed fingers, but he says, no, I'm taking responsibility for this. So that's in the higher ups' eyes, sees that they can trust Jocko for future missions because they know that he will take responsibility and ensure that none of this will ever happen again. Now, that's exactly what happened. Jocko took extreme ownership, made sure that there's great communication, made sure that the planning phase went well, and moving forward, he applied this principle of extreme ownership in all of his missions, and even to his day right now in his retired phase, so that he can have the best possible outcomes each and every single time, because he is the leader. He is in control of the situation by taking responsibility for everything. Now, I think this is a very powerful story because a lot of the times in our own lives, through the world, through whether it's in work, through our personal lives, we like to play the blame game, and we are all guilty of it. Sometimes we point, hey, I'm working with a bad team, I'm working with a bad boss, my partner is not listening to me, that person is being very disrespectful to me. And fair, you might have it all warranted, but that puts your power outside of you. But when you take extreme ownership and say, like, this is my responsibility, this situation is my responsibility, how do I get out of this? How do I make this better? You gain your power back, right? Whether that's in the workplace, I'm working with a bad team. Okay, how do I actually learn what each person's preference is, and how can I work with them to their liking so that they may be able to work with me in the way that I like, and that we can make this and actually complete this project forward and make that done. Maybe you're working with a bad leader. Okay, no worries. I will still make sure that the project gets done, because we will need to move this thing forward, or else both of our butts will get fired, right? By being proactive and thinking about different ways, you will move things forward. Even in the relationships, wow, this person doesn't understand me. Okay, let me actually first try to understand what this person cares about and what their personality type is. Maybe this person doesn't like to talk as much. This person just wants to focus on other activities. You need to understand the other person's side first. Then you can actually be in a better state of flow with them, right? So these are just a few high-level examples, but I want to share a personal story of mine of how where extreme ownership became very powerful to me, and this was back in 2019. Now, I was struggling at work because, if you didn't know, I mentioned my previous stories. Back in college, I partied a lot, I didn't focus, I cut some corners, so my fundamental skills and work ethic were not there to kind of carry me when I first entered the workforce in public accounting, pretty much a battlefield where you need to be on the tip-top shape of your game. And I was scrambling, I was trying to build better habits, I was trying to read books, I was trying to apply all the great techniques that they had to offer. I even asked for help, but I was still scrambling around. So I was able to build momentum from 2015 to the beginning of 2019, but it came to a cross point where everyone in my star class got promoted except for me. And I actually felt like I didn't earn it at that time of promotion because I didn't even have the skill sets yet. But I came to the crossroad, do I quit and just go off to Taiwan and study Mandarin, which I already had a plan for before, or do I complete this cycle of where of becoming a leader, of being an effective project manager, of being a strong professional? And this is when this book came to me, Extreme Ownership, is that, hey, this is your life. You need to take ownership. And I realized at that point, what did I want? I didn't care specifically about the promotion. What I cared about was the skill set that came with it. How to be a good leader, to be able to manage up and manage down, manage to the clients, right? How to become a great project manager, how do I manage different projects and make sure that everything is on target for completion without things dropping. And 3, just building the grit mindset and the intellectual curiosity to push through challenges. And I think I came to the point of realization that I know that if I didn't do this right now and complete the cycle of trying and rising to become a senior and being promoted and gain the skill sets, the next place that I'm going to go to, I'm going to run into the same problem in the workplace, right? I'm still not going to be a leader. I'm still not going to be effective. I'm still not going to be able to have the same skill set. Maybe, you know, like I could still have done it, but maybe like I would still have run into the same challenges eventually, and I would have to come to the crossroads again, and I would have to go through the whole exercise again. So I'm like thinking, you know what? Jocko Willink, Extreme Ownership. Let's get through this. So really helped me. I mean, three things that I think really helped during this process was, one, staying aware, right? How did I get here? What factors led me to be here? Which I said, my poor study habits, my work ethic. Cool. I got distracted. How do I move things forward? Done. This was because of me. Two, how do I be resourceful? Okay, I'm gonna read some books, I'm gonna ask for help, but I'm also gonna ask for specialized help. I tried to originally just work with one of my tax friends, and I was like in audit, and we were just trying to like, hey, how do you do this? He helped a lot with the soft skills, but I needed specialized help. And when I actually asked for help from one of my superstar peers, Cardi Huynh, my sensei, incredible, phenomenal human being and professional that just knows how to get things done and deliver results, she showed me the mindset of how to win, how to take extreme ownership, and how to lead. And by being under her wing and guidance and sharing her mindset with me, I was also able to kind of push through any challenges that I got through and be able to kind of carry those spirit with me till this day. So after being resourceful, after reading, getting the resources right, the third thing is being action oriented, right? Because if you are aware of your problems, you are being resourceful, you still need to be action oriented to push things forward. So you need to identify what are the biggest actions, actions that could make the biggest impact, right? Because there's so many things that could be done, but what's gonna move things forward? And being very diligent about being focused on those actions and taking action on those consistently over time. So at the end of the day, by me staying aware, me being resourceful, me being action oriented, pretty much what sums up the spirit of being extreme ownership, I was able to push through adversity, worked every single day from January 2019 till the end of May 2019. I was able to get promoted to senior. And the whole point of the story, as I said, is not that I got promoted, was that I was able to embody the skill sets of leadership, project management, and the grit mindset to be able to earn the right to have the extreme ownership mentality to push through future adversity. So I wanna bring this back to you all, right? And I wanna start out with the quote with, if it's to be, it's up to me. Right? So I want you to think about your own situation right now. How is your progress towards your goals? Are you behind? Are you on track? Are you ahead? Now, if you're behind, think about what I said. First, stay aware. How did I get into this situation? Have I been distracted? Where could I have done better? Number two, how to be resourceful, right? What books or videos could I consume and read and apply so that I can get into a better situation? Who has solved my problem so that I can actually move things forward in a methodical and effective manner? Step number three is be action oriented, right? Once you already know the tools and the situation, it's now time to get to work. Apply what you've learned, seek feedback, have someone that's accountable for you, who actually cares about you, that you would actually be able to kind of ping pong ideas and they would actually help you move things forward. Now, if you are on track to hit your goals and you've been crushing it, then great, right? Still be aware. What have you been doing well that you should continue to be doing? And thumbs up. Now, for the last part, if you're exceeding your goals, good stuff, you're a winner. But I would also want to challenge you, unless you're a superstar robot that you can just do everything, typically when you've exceeded in some aspect of your life, you've also deprioritized some other aspects of your life to reach that goal. So maybe it's time for you to reflect and look back at that. Should I be nurturing that? Should I be watering that? And if you need to go back to deprioritize what you're exceeding at to water that plant again, maybe it's your relation, maybe it's your health, maybe it's your diet, go water that. So overall, the extreme ownership mentality is so crucial to having the mindset to win and just to push through obstacles, not to point fingers at anyone, but to only point your fingers to yourself, that this is my one life and this is mine to have. So I want you guys to remember extreme ownership, because we are in a state of power when we live and breathe and practice the principle of extreme ownership. The locus of control goes back to us, and the self-reliance builds momentum towards our goals. So I wish everyone to reflect, be honest on your progress, and take the ownership mentality into the second half of 2022. If you do so, I truly believe that you will be able to make gains on your goals and be able to overcome obstacles and be that much closer to reaching your ideal life. And with that being said, guys, if you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like. If you like this type of personal development content, consider subscribing. And until next time, guys, thanks for listening. Peace.